Today we're looking at Cuddly Koala, a 1,000-piece puzzle from the Australian brand Funbox. When I picked this up for $5 at a local St Vinny's charity shop, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Yes, it comes in a fairly thick, well-printed box. Yes, the puzzle image was immediately appealing to my eye, and yes, it does say premium quality right on the front, but with a brand name as generic as Funbox, I was pretty skeptical about what I was going to get inside. And you know what? I've got to hand it to them. They did actually deliver one of the better quality puzzles I've solved. The pieces are what I would call Ravensburger-esque, and I'm not the first person to make that comparison. They're about the same size, are about as thick, have a variety of shapes, and are well printed with a matte finish. On the plus side, they seem to produce less puzzle dust, but on the downside, and I'm aware I say this pretty often, their pieces just don't hold together as well. Though they weren't too bad in this respect, I did have to reassemble one of the edges after it fell apart. Though that was mainly my own fault for pushing it off the desk as I was moving it around. Unlike Ravensburger, they do actually include a poster of their puzzle, but the poster is barely bigger than the image on the front of the box. One other small thing, they have a light grey backing, which is a perfectly fine neutral choice, but maybe not the best match for an image where you have pieces that are going to be the same colour on the other side. Speaking of this image, this is a vector illustration featuring 5 cuddly koalas of the cute cartoon variety, not to be confused with the chlamydia-ridden wild animals you'll see in real life. Now, koalas developed a reputation for cuddling in the late 20th century, with many overseas visitors seeing it as a sort of rite of passage to snag a photo op with one during their stay. But it's worth noting that this practice is now heavily regulated or banned in the majority of Australian states, for the welfare of the animals, not the chlamydia thing. I was able to trace these specific koalas back to Ukrainian artist Hanna Artiukhova, though I couldn't find a source for the background or border, so I'm not sure if that is her work or if it's something that was added by Funbox's own designers. But however they arrived at the end product, I found the image charming, colourful, and most importantly, great for a puzzle. I started with the border, which even though it's very different to the main image, is fun to put together in its own right. While it does repeat, the way the undulating pattern lines up with the piece cut varies, so it wasn't a struggle to put together. And because it's so thick, you sort of end up with 3 concentric rings of unique pieces around the edge of the puzzle. So it's almost like having 3 edges on your puzzle. Once I got to the inside, I pulled out all the colours of the gum tree flowers, butterflies and bunting in the background. Then came the koalas, which all have different poses and expressions, so though the pieces are very similar between them, it was still enjoyable to take a piece and work out which koala it belonged to. But then at the end I had around 140 quite similar looking teal pieces to fill the background with. This wasn't too bad though, as all the mise-en-scène dotted around the background made it so the missing pieces were all in narrow sections, so there was plenty of shape information around the side to fill in each piece. I suppose that part was a bit of a chore compared to the rest of the image, but it didn't mar the whole experience for me. The only real disappointment was that in spite of the assurance on the front of the box that it was complete, there did end up being one missing piece, which I spent a long time looking for before I could convince myself that I wasn't the one who lost it. But those things happen, and it's all part of the second-hand puzzle experience. So all in all, Funbox delivered on the fun, and the box is pretty good too. Looking at their other puzzle images, a lot of what I would describe as ugly composite images, so I'm not going to give them a ringing endorsement, but their piece quality is high, and for this specific image, I really enjoyed it, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I hope you can find something nice to give a cuddle. Though if it's going to be a koala, better make it a plush one. Take care.